Civil society groups said they were disappointed. They had expected the Minova trial to be an example of the fight against impunity. Many say they are now afraid that rape victims will simply not seek to file charges.
South Africans head to the polls on Wednesday in the country's first election since the death of Nelson Mandela. The African National Congress is expected to clinch a fifth term in office. CNN Robin Kono has more.
She was born for this. Nonkululeko first name means freedom in Zulu. She shares her last name with South Africa's President Jacob Zuma, although they're not related. She came into the world on the eve of the country's first democratic election. It's a good time now, she says. There's water, there's electricity. It's because of the ANC. 20 years later, she's campaigning for Zuma's ruling party in the hills of her birth and in the shadow of his rural homestead, Nkandla. Nkandla itself is a political lightning rod after the state watchdog agency alleged more than $20 million of taxpayer money was misused in improvements to the sprawling complex. For his part, Zuma has denied any wrongdoing. But here in rural KwaZulu-Natal, far away from the public protector's investigation, those allegations and denials matter very little. Loyalty to the Liberation Party and its leader remains strong.
In fact, they see it as part of the perks of a ruler.
And while the polls show the ruling ANC and Zuma are expected to carry around 60% of the vote, in the cities, analysts say discontent is growing.
Many people are beginning to understand that the struggle today is not the same as the struggle yesterday.
Talk about the future of South Africa.
Mmusi Maimane is a leader of the Democratic Alliance, South Africa's largest opposition party.
They can be doctors, they can be lawyers, they can know their food.
In the first election after Nelson Mandela's death, he says identifying with young voters is more crucial than ever.
I think that generation is vital. It's a generation of South Africans that what is a real great pity now is that only a few of them have been registered to vote, so it becomes hard.
Nonkululeko will also miss out on Wednesday's vote, one of the many young South Africans born without birth certificates and unable to register. I'm very upset, she says. I want my ID. I want to vote. But when I go to the government office, they always tell me to come back. Growing pains continue in this still very young democracy. But so too a strong connection to its political past.
We now take a second break. We'll be right back. Liverpool stalwarts Steven Gerrard and striker Luis Suarez were left in tears at Selhurst Park after the Premier League leaders blew a 3-0 advantage to draw with home side Crystal Palace. The drop point means the Merseysiders have all but blown their chances of winning the Barclays Premier League for the first time in 24 years. We have details in the CNN report.
Were left in tears on Monday night after they saw their side collapse dramatically from 3-0 up to drawing 3-3 with Crystal Palace. It means that although Liverpool still lead the Premier League table, City are very much in the driving seat with an extra game still to play. Here's a look at the table. Liverpool leading the way on 81 points, but they have just the one game left to play against Newcastle. City lie in second, knowing that 4 points from their remaining 2 games will be enough to see them win their second title in 3 years, starting with that game at Villa on Wednesday.
Yes, yeah, for me it is, yeah. For me, we needed to win tonight to keep the pressure on. Obviously, it was still in the hands of Manchester City. So us winning tonight would have given them a little bit of pressure in the Aston Villa game. Aston Villa will go, and I'm sure they get some really good players and make it difficult, like they've done against the top 4 teams this season. But But I think everyone will look at Manchester City squad and look at them as the team that can go on and win the games and get the job done.
From sports, a quick reminder of our headlines. Explore the country's fish and marine resources, President Jammeh has told youths in the Kanifing municipality, this as he continued his dialogue with the People's Store. The government of the Gambia and ECOWAS have signed a $31 million energy agreement meant to kickstart the implementation of the Emergency Power Supply Program for the Gambia. Nigeria has enlisted international support to locate the more than 200 girls allegedly abducted by the Boko Haram. On a day, the militants reported the abduction of another 8 girls in Borno State. And South Africans are heading to the polls for the 5th general election since the end of white minority rule in 1994. Well, that's all in this edition of the news. Thank you very much for the pleasure of your company. Do stay tuned with Grts. Enjoy the rest of our programs.
The Independence Stadium on the 10th of May 2014, bringing you Sizzla Kalonji all the way from Kingston, Jamaica.
Too long now. Yes, you gotta shine that light. Yes, we gotta make it right.
Mutabaruka.
Yahuro Africa. This poem is a rebirth of a people, arising, awakening, understanding. This poem is speaking, have spoken.
Erica Badu.
In fact, she's a queen to me. Her light beams on me.
And from the smiling coast of mankind, Jaliba Kuyate and the Kumareban, and many other Gambian artists are gonna perform live on stage that night. Tickets, VIP $1,000, covered pavilion $200, uncovered pavilion $150. You cannot miss it. It's on the 10th of May 2014. Sizzla Kalonji live in a Gambia once again. Mutabaruka, first time ever. Erika Badu. Yeah, man, it's the first time that Sizzla and Mutabaruka say a stage in the Gambia. You cannot miss it because every Gambia massive. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Jërëjëf.
Yo ala baraka.
Jërëjëf.
Saimbe menkela.
Léegi lu moo ñooy def mooy.
Wala ñente lafta itan lalla. Même mu mitino kumoti.
def leen bëgg a wone lana waral meeting bi